Let's loom knit some jar hugs and cozies. Welcome back to another Yarn Inspirations tutorial. I'm your host, Kristen Mangus of GoodKnit Kisses. Let's get started. In today's video, you are going to need a number 4 medium weight cotton yarn. We're using Bernat Handicrafter Holidays in color Red Sparkle for contrast A. And we're using color white in contrast B. You'll also need 2 buttons about 1 1/4 inch or 3 centimeters approximately. Today we're going to be working on jar hugs. There is also a bonus pattern for mug hugs as well. We have the Peppermint jar hug and the Zigzag jar hug. Both of these are a 2-color pattern with a 4-row repeat. There is just a slight change in them, so we have 2 different video series so that you can see them separately. You need the same supplies for either one. You'll need 2 large buttons, and make sure you have a tapestry needle for the eye of that tapestry needle to fit right through. This button is 1 1/2 inches or 3 centimeters, so you need 2 buttons for each mug hug that you want. You will also need a tape measure, a stitch marker, a loom tool, of course, loom pick, and your scissors. And then you also need your jar that you're going to be using. If you use a standard mason size jar, this pattern will follow that. Otherwise, you need to measure around the circumference all the way around for your jar. For your loom, you will need any small gauge loom. This one is a KB loom. It's an 80 peg, but you only need 15 pegs for your jar hug or 9 pegs for your mug hug. So any small gauge loom will do. I'll give you notes whether you're a tight knitter or a loose knitter. And let's move on and begin on the Peppermint jar hug. To download your pattern for the Peppermint jar hug, click on the link in the description below. Before we begin, let's talk about construction. This is a flat panel, and you begin with your cast on edge and then work your way back and forth on this panel until you reach the end, and then we will cast off a few stitches to make a buttonhole, and then we will actually cast on some stitches again and then bind off and then sew in or weave in our tails, and then you add your buttons to this cast on edge. Now when you are doing the mug hug, you will just knit to the length that you need, and then you will bind off and stitch together the beginning and the ending parts, the cast on and the cast off edges. And that is how that is worked. Now on the jar hug, or one that you want buttons on, you will follow the instructions here. The instructions at the end will be using some of my needle video, which is only for things like sewing and such. All right, let's begin. All right, let's talk about cast on. If you are right-handed and you enjoy purling to the left, you are going to cast on from left to right, and then your row 1 will work towards the left and you'll be purling. All of the rows 1 and 3, this is a 4-row repeat, will be purled and we're going towards the left. Now, if you do that, all of your yarn, when we add it, we're going to be twisting our yarn at the side where our color change is. If you are left-handed and you prefer purling to the right, you're going to start on the right, work your way to that first peg, and then all of your odd rows will be working to the right, and your yarn will be twisting up on the right side. All right, so with those things in mind, be sure and begin. You can do everything exactly the way I'm doing it here. For contrast A, I'm using red, but or red sparkle in this case, but I'm using a color gray but I'm using this gray color here. For this tutorial, I'm working with a gray color so that you can see it against my loom a little easier than the red. Start with your slip knot and cast on 15 pegs over from where you want that peg 1 to start for row 1. I'm going to drop it on this one. I don't need that stitch marker anymore to mark my place. And I am putting only 1 stitch marker on this loom because I just want to know where that first row began. Okay, so I'm going to double E-wrap cast on. You can do the cable cast on if you like, and just go ahead and cast on 15 stitches. Pause your video, and when we return, we'll work on row 1. See you soon. Okay, so row 1, we're going to make sure our yarn goes all the way to the back of the loom and around to the front. Go to the outside of where your knitting is to bring it in position for a purl stitch. Okay, so we're just going to make a purl stitch. We're just going to put the working yarn below the loop on the peg, scoop up that yarn and make a loop, and then take the old loop off and put the new loop on. And that is how you work a purl stitch. And make sure and cinch that up. Okay, now we're ready to move on to the second peg. This is where our asterisk section begins. We are going to slip with the yarn in front of the peg and then purl 1. All you do is hold it in front of it and then go on to that next peg. So you're skipping a peg, but you're keeping the yarn in the front instead of going in the back. So just purl 1 and slip in front of the next peg, purl 1 and slip again. So keep going. You're just simply working every other peg and keeping that yarn in front. All right, pause your video as you need, and I'll meet you back when you're ready for row 2. We're ready for row 2, and I'm going to work with my contrast B. We'll pick that up and start working that first stitch. Now you can tie it on a knot on the back inside or just leave it hanging for now, which is just fine. And we're going to work that first stitch. Now you don't need very much yarn, so if you want to make a little bobbin of yarn, keep it off to the side. And you will be twisting the yarn up the side for color changes. I'm going to take this first stitch on row 2 and knit. That's all we do. You want to pull on that other working yarn of gray, or that color A, to make sure it's not going to be way too loose in the back there. Now that we get started, we can just move on. To knit in one stitch below, you can see that we've already got this holding peg here. That's all we did the row before. Technically in needles, this has to be purled. The row before has to be purled, and then you have to pick up and you have to go below the stitch below. But on the loom, it's really easy because we can just hold it that row before. So we're just going to work with these 2 stitches, hold that yarn in front. If you are a tight loom knitter, I suggest you U-wrap your stitch, go all the way back here and knit over. Okay, and then you're going to continue on with a knit stitch, and so you wrap that, so it's knit 1 below and then knit 1. If you are a loose loom knitter, then you could do a flat stitch here. So you just hold it right in front here, you know, kind of loose, and then lift 2 over 1 to knit that. I tend to be a little tight, and so I'm going to U-knit that. But if you decide that after you get several inches done and then yours is too gappy, you can make yours a flat knit stitch as well. So, and then you would have to go back, but this is a very small pattern, so you it wouldn't be much of a waste for you. It's certainly small enough as a small yarn swatch for you. All right, so just continue going across, working. You're knitting this entire row, but the ones where the 2 pegs are going over, it's not a knit 2 together, it is a knit 1 below. Continue working that all the way across, and I'll meet you back up for row 3. See you soon. The third row, we continue with contrast B, and we're going to purl the first 2 stitches. So purl that, and then purl the next one. And now we're going to continue that repeated process where we slip with the yarn in front of the peg and then purl 1. And we continue that until 3 stitches remain. So continue on that pattern, pause your video, and come back when you have 3 stitches remaining to be worked. See you soon. Okay, 3 stitches remain. We are going to slip with the yarn in front of the peg and purl. And then we purl that last stitch. So on row 3, we have 2 stitches at the end that get purled, and all the middle has that slip one with the yarn in front, and then a purl stitch. Okay, so we are totally set up now for row 4. Now we need to change our yarn because we're going to go back to A. So we set this one down, and if you have this in a bobbin, it makes it easier to grab, to put this at the back, and then now grab this A and basically you're grabbing it from underneath, and then work your stitch. Let me get this yarn tail out of the way though. Okay, we're going to knit the first 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then we knit one below, which is just working those 2 stitches over as before, and continue across to finish row 4. That's it. That's all you need to do for this stitch. So continue on the 4-row repeat until it reaches 9 inches or your desired length. And then when we meet back, we will finish up how to make your buttonholes and cast off. Pause your video and we'll see you soon. So as you can see, I don't have 9 inches made here. This is just a demonstration here, but you will stop when you have 9 inches measured with your measuring tape. And I have my yarn ending on the 4th row, and I want to go ahead and work one more row back to where I have got both of the strands, both of the colors together. So just go ahead and purl all the way across until you reach that. Pause your video and I will see you soon. All right, so that you have ended after a row 1 or 3 or purled your way back. And then now we need both strands. So take color or contrast B that you've got back here, or A, whichever one you're on. We're going to hold these 2 together and we're going to knit the first 2 stitches with both strands. 1, 2. Okay. Now we want to make these next 4 stitches all bound off. So we want empty pegs on all 4 of these stitches here. So I'm going to knit this next stitch, and then I'm going to knit the next stitch, and I'm going to pick this second one up and put it on the first and lift the bottom 2 loops over the top 2 loops, and then I'm going to pick that peg, those stitches up and move them over to that empty peg over there. And then now we're going to knit the next peg and move that new stitch over, work the stitch, pick up that loop or 2 loops and put it on the peg, and we're going to knit the next one and move the loops and then work those stitches there and pick it up and move it again. And see how we've got 3 empty pegs right now? We want 1 more empty peg. So knit the next stitch, which would be your 5th over, but it's not going to remain empty. We're going to pick that up, move it onto that 4th peg here, which we're about to make empty, knit it over, move it, and now you have 4 empty pegs. 4 empty pegs, and because this stitch is already knit, we're going to move on to the next one and knit 1 and knit 2, and then now we need to work these next 4 stitches. So this is going to be the hole for your buttons. So we're going to knit a stitch. So we're knitting 1, knitting 2, moving that over to be cast off or bound off, work that stitch, pick it up and move it, knit a stitch, move it, and work it, pick it up and move it, and knit the stitch, pick it up, work it, move it. Almost done. Got 1 more to free up here. Knit the next stitch, pick it up and move it, work it, and then pick that up and move it. And you've already knit this one, so it's supposed to be knit 2 at the end. You've already got this knit, and now we're going to knit this last stitch here. Work our way back by purling. Purl 2 stitches, 1, make sure you get all those threads there, 2. All right, now we need to cast on. We're going to do a half hitch cast on. or a thumb cast on. The easiest way to do it is to pull our yarn to the back and put our thumb in here and then flip it. And then we're just going to lay it right down. It's like an E-wrap that's upside down. So the yarn comes underneath this loop back here. And then we just tighten it up. Let's do that again. We're going to pull it back like this, take our thumb and twist it and place it. Let's do that again. We're going to take our yarn to the back, put our thumb in, twist it around, and one more time. And we made this little loop, place it on here, and pull up that slack. I've got one more here, twist it around, making a loop, and place it on the peg, and then get that extra slack in there. So if you need to, use your loom tool to get that on there without too much slack. So that's going to create this little hole in here. And now we move on, put our yarn to the front again, and purl these next 3 stitches. And by using 2 yarns at the same time, we are making our buttonhole edges more firmed up. We're kind of fortifying them. Okay, so now I've got 3 that are knit in between, and we got to add on these half hitches again. So twist it around and add on that half hitch. Twist around, lay it in, twist around, lay it in there. Oops. There we go. I'm going to tighten those up on the back here, and one more. So now I have 4 half hitch on there, and then we need 2 purl stitches on the end. So we're going to purl 1 and 2. And all that's left is to cast off or bind off, and you just need the simple basic bind off, which we have done already, but you're going to do it throughout the entire thing. So let's do that together. We're going to knit the first stitch, still working with both yarns together. Knit 1, knit 2, lift that top loop over and knit it off. Sorry, I said top loop. I mean both loops. Okay, let me pick up both loops, move that over to the empty peg. And now we just repeat by working that second peg here, knitting it, lifting up and over, moving it, working it, picking it up and moving it to the empty peg, and continue. So pause your video as you need, and you can use those controls to speed up and slow down as you need. I'll see you soon. Once you get that last stitch moved over and worked, you're just going to clip your yarn and pull that on through. And then you'll weave in all of your tails. Now, this is obviously a very small sample, but you've got these little eyelets here. These are for the buttonholes, and it's been shored up with those extra strands here. All right, so tune into the next part of the video where I'll show you how to put on the buttons and finish it up. See you soon. Okay, and so now you've got a tail that needs to be woven in on this side, and this area here is your buttonholes. And so let's go on to the other side here, and you'll weave in this tail as well with your wide-eye tapestry needle. And then this long tail, if you kept a nice long tail, otherwise you'll need another one. But you will want to weave in either any short tails and then put on your buttons. So go ahead and weave in those other tails, pause your video, and we'll meet back up to sew on your buttons. See you soon. Now that I have all my tails woven in, I'm ready to put on the finishing detail, which is my buttons. Now, in order to know where to put the buttons, you will need to go ahead and get your jar out and place it around and fit it around the opening to where the opening of the buttons lays on top of the edge here. So this is the cast on edge, and we want to see exactly where that falls. So when I put my buttonholes over it, they fall about right here. Now I can use my finger and kind of note where that is, and then take a stitch marker and just pin it. So I'm just going to put a little stitch marker in right about where that stitch is, and then I can let that go. And I have this one over here. I can mark that as well, and then I can let it go. So now I know where the buttons need to fit. See that? And I'm just going to use my my extra yarn that I had here, and I'm going to get it right up to where that stitch marker is. And then that way I can start sewing in from that direction. So I'm just going to work my needle in underneath these stitches here and just get right up in there. Okay, and now that I know where that is, I'm going to take my stitch marker off and put my button on. Okay, so I'm going to make my buttons at a 45-degree angle here. I think it has a little bit more interest to it, and then I'll use this first hole for where it starts being stitched in. So it's centered right up where it needs to be. Pull that on through, and then now I can go straight down and pick a stitch here and go across, and then we're going to go up again through that stitch and down again, and then I'm going to go to one side. It's a free hole that hasn't been used yet, and we're going to go across, and then we've just crisscrossed our button. We'll do it one more time. And down again. Okay, and if you have room, you can go one more time. And lock that into place. And then now that I'm on the back side here, I can go ahead and make sure that's nice and secure. Go through one of these stitches here. I'm going to leave a loop at the end and then go through that, making a nice little knot here. Okay. And then now I want to go all the way over to this side, so I can just go back through some of these stitches here to let my yarn travel. I'm just picking areas with like yarn on it. Go ahead and get yours all the way over to that other side. Pause your video if you need to, and meet me back up when you get over here, just like we did before. See you soon. Okay, so I'm back. Go up and under this last one. Okay, so this is where I want to put my next button. Same thing, I'm going to lay it just down as I did the last one. And just repeat. Go down and up again. And just repeat it how you did it. If you crisscrossed it each and every time, that's okay too. Whatever works for you. I would just make them look the same on both. If you have a different way of sewing on a button, be my guest. This is just how I'm doing it. Just make sure it's nice and secure, so if you do wash your mug hug, or the person does, that it's not going to come out. Okay, so sew my buttons on. Just going to go through the back here and pull that loop. Go back through the loop. Make sure and give it a good tug. Make a knot. I'm going to do it one more time, just for good measure. Make another loop. Oops, drop my yarn. Here we go. Go through that last one, pull it through, and then you can go ahead and weave in your tail just a little bit. Go through a few of these stitches up here. And then you can actually go through and hide where you clip it on the back side here underneath the button. And there you have it. And then you're just going to button that onto your jar or your mug. So cute. Whether you make this jar hug for cocoa or candy, it's sure to be a hit this gift-giving season. On behalf of Yarnspirations and GoodKnit Kisses, I'm your pattern designer, Kristen, wishing you happy knitting and happy holidays. Bye-bye.